Pigweed here. Today we review a pale ale and discuss Matt Walsh's movie, Am I Racist? Well, all right. Good evening, Crowell.
Good evening, Pigweed. What do you think about some beer and conversation this evening?
Sure. What are we drinking?
Well, I just got this from Chesterton, a British Pale Ale.
Okay. Well,
All right, that sounds interesting. So what's on your mind?
Well, as you may recall, a couple of days ago we went to see this movie and in the theater,
Yeah.
and I think we should talk about it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. It was pretty interesting. Let's go through it. But before, let's have a gander at this beer here. Guilford Brewing. This isn't in England.
No, that's a Baltimore beer.
Baltimore beer. That's a British Pale Ale. So what do you expect out of a British Pale Ale?
Right, and how would you know it was a British Pale Ale if it wasn't a Union flag on the can? I would say, first off, it's darker than an American Pale Ale.
Yes.
It's got a little bit of that tells me there's going to be a little bit of malty backbone.
Yeah.
And it's not going to have any fruity, citrusy American hops.
I think those are all good expectations. It's probably going to be more Fuggles and Golding and kind of regular traditional English hops. And I'm not getting a huge amount of hop aroma, which an American Pale Ale would be punching me in the nose with the hop aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't mind that. That's lovely color.
Yeah. Okay. It's a little bit more hop flavor and bitterness than I would expect, but still very good. I like it. It's
But it's you're not going to confuse this with Sierra Nevada.
no, it's very different on the scale.
The Oliver's right downtown
Mm-hmm.
in 2014
Yeah.
was the 100th year anniversary of the 200th year anniversary of the War of 1812.
Okay.
Which in Baltimore took place in 1814.
Okay.
So I don't know why it's called. The war was 2 years long. I don't know why it's called the War of 1812. Anyway, they brewed an American Pale Ale and a British Pale Ale.
And had a contest?
It had a contest.
Right.
It gave you a little piece of paper for you to check off.
Right.
And so, despite all my patriotic leanings,
You like the British
the British
one
was better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so the Guilford Brewing, well done. The one criticism is that the carbonation was a little off. On these.
Yeah. So you want to pour this in a glass.
Pour this one quickly.
Yes, over a sink maybe. But
Right.
it's settled down. It's got a nice puffy head.
Yes. So well done. It's I think possibly just a little bit too much on the hop flavor, but still very very well done.
Right.
Drinkable beer. All right. So Matt Walsh, who is like this deadpan. His sense of humor is so interesting. It's so dry.
Yes.
And he put together this new movie. I mean, we saw What Is a Woman and
Yes, works for the Daily Wire, a conservative podcaster.
Yeah.
And What Is a Woman was a big success and
Yeah.
made a lot of waves.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Well, what can we do next?"
We've
we tackled the trans community issue. What do we do next? DEI and race hustlers.
Which I have some small amount of hope. DEI is DIEing because people seem to be backing away, and we've talked about that before. But I'm kind of hoping anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to
Am I Racist?
Yeah.
Is funny. They tried. It's sort of a combination between a documentary and a comedy.
Yes.
And that was kind of a weird mix. But the point was he's trying to expose the race hustlers, but he's doing it by going through his own personal journey of asking himself,
right. So that's
am I
sort of the
racist?
fictional comedy aspect of it.
Yeah.
But as he's going through this journey, he's talking to real people who don't think that they're part of a comedy.
Yeah.
And he sold this as a anti-racist documentary. So
And
he
he
told
got-
me, and he was quite honest. And he said,
And he got top people in
He
the
got
in
the-
the
he got
anti.
big-
Now, one of the
big
things
names.
one of the things that really surprised me early on in the movie, I guess I don't know why it surprised me, but when he went into the bookstore and was asking the lady for some books on anti-racism, there was like a whole section of books.
Yeah.
There wasn't like there were 5. There were, I don't know, 100 books on anti-racism.
No wonder they all get caught for plagiarizing, because you're just repeating the same idea over and over.
How many times can you say the same drivel? But yeah, they are saying the same stuff over and over. And there's all these books, and it's become big business. This whole anti-racism stuff. Corporations are buying seminars on,
by the tens of thousands of dollars.
And so if I had no morals, I would have gotten into this whole DEI business.
And if you could rock a man bun.
No, I mean in terms of putting together a program for companies to say, I'll come in and train your people in anti-racism. I mean, gosh, what a bunch of... You have all these stupid companies spending all this money for this BS classes.
Right. Well, you could form the business, but you couldn't actually deliver the seminar.
I probably couldn't.
I'm sure you could find somebody.
I don't think I could pull that off. That's right. Yeah, exactly. You'd have a white guy can't do a thing like that.
Well, and Matt Walsh tried, and so first he just went in with no disguise, if you want to call it, and he just went in as Matt, said his name was Steven, and he went to the cry room.
Yes. And they figured him out.
They Googled him, and they said, so there's, I don't know. So everybody's in their own bubbles, and so in my world, is a super recognizable person.
Yeah.
If you're living in DEI land, probably not.
Probably not.
So he can kind of get away with it. So anyway, he got caught and said, I have to go deeper undercover. And he goes,
yes.
But I'm not shaving my beard. I mean, can you imagine if Matt Walsh shaved his beard? He could go absolutely anywhere forever. But that isn't happening.
That wasn't happening. He could have dyed it or something. But so what? Do you remember the scene in the very beginning? What in the context of the movie? What tips him off to wonder, am I racist? He's sitting in the diner.
And she said, how do you like your coffee?
Yeah, a black waitress comes up and asks him, how do you like your coffee?
And there's this long pause while
he's wondering.
While the camera goes back and forth between the two of them.
He's wondering, is it okay for me to say that I like it black?
And then he's like, that's how I like my coffee. Why have I been put in this position to worry about...
This is something we've discussed before.
Yes, we have.
Is there's so much of this stuff being thrown at us constantly that every once in a while you have this little voice in your head that says, am I...
Did that come across as racist? And so, how about this? They get to the what is it? The racist dinner. Race to dinner.
Oh yeah, race to dinner. Yes.
So where a black woman and a Latina woman are paid thousands of dollars
to come in and berate these white women.
You have to be a white woman to go while you have dinner, and they call you racist.
What a thing! I mean, gosh, that'd be worth a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Spend a bunch of money to have some lunatics yell at you and call you racist.
Each time he interviews somebody, he puts up on the screen how much this interview is costing. So to sit down and interview some hack can cost you anywhere. It seems like from $3,000 to $15,000, I believe.
Yeah, and that whole scene at the dinner. So he couldn't be at the table because only white women were allowed to be at the table.
But they will allow white men to serve them.
Yes. So, which is interesting. Yes. But white women, liberal white women, are basically the scourge of America. They do most of the ills in America can be traced back to liberal white women. But so they have these liberal white women that they're trying to indoctrinate into this anti-racism stuff. And one of the ones that I thought was really funny was one of the women here's from a review of the movie in The Economist. The woman has a confession to make at this dinner. Over an elegant dinner, she admits to her companions that sometimes when she's out with her husband and he is really loud, she shushes. Yeah, he's black. She shushes him. A normal exchange within a marriage, one might think, but she is white and he is black. Her impulse, she worries, is probably my white supremacy talking. Now, think about that for a minute.
Think about
this woman is married to a black man, and she's still berating herself about her racism. I mean, what else? I don't get it. Like, what do you have to do to get out of this crazy mindset? It's almost like it's an obsession. It's the sort of thing where you have the church lady who is so constantly thinking about her own sins, and she's, everything, you know what I mean? It's like you have this obsession with your own sins, and this woman has an obsession with her own racism.
Right. So so when he decides to go deep undercover, he puts on a wig with a man bun on it, and that's the extent of his entire.
But I know. But what he does is, for the dinner, is he's the servant.
Yes.
And gosh, he's cringy. The things he does and says, I could not.
I'm on my. By the
way,
so he went online and got DEI certified for $29, and flashes this ID
and
around,
brags about it the whole movie.
The whole movie.
I am DEI certified, by the way. That was funny.
And he's willing to show it to any and everybody.
Except the one guy who actually tried to read it. You don't need to read it that much. He takes it back.
It's like, what? You got this from DEI.com. You don't need to.
Forget it. Don't look into it too much.
So in terms of this ridiculous and obsessive self-regulation, I love the whole part of over-smiling.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about cringy.
Oh, my gosh.
You ever find yourself over-smiling at black people?
So
I guess not ignoring black people is racist.
Right.
Paying too much attention, having a mean face, and over-smiling are all racist. And so he incorporates that into when he becomes a DEI instructor.
That's right.
To having a course.
And
he brings a black man.
Smile the appropriate amount.
It says, I want you to. He's checking people smiling, their faces. All right, I want you to look at this black man in the least racist way that you can, and he'll evaluate how unracist your smiling is. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the premise is that white people who feel guilty and feel like they might be racist, they might be overcompensating when they see black people and smiling too much, which then becomes
then
racism.
It makes them awkward, and they recognize that you are a racist, or you wouldn't be over smiling. Oh my God!
So imagine what is the sickness? Let's say for example,
this isn't written comedy.
Yeah.
This is how they think. He is just exposing.
Yeah.
He didn't set anybody up, except for the fact that he was there.
Yeah.
But they are saying what they say behind closed doors and in their sessions and whatever. This is how they talk, and this is what the movie is trying to expose.
Imagine being so sensitive that somebody trying to be nice to you, and maybe smiling a little bit too much, you take that as offensive?
Right. Which no normal people do. So let's get on to the normal people, because what he's talking to the DEI grifters, the people who are educated and steeped in this stuff, who are reading Robin DiAngelo. And let's understand, this is a tiny portion of the country. We're only aware of it because we're the kind of people who pay attention to that stuff. Yeah. But in real world, nobody thinks like this. Nobody acts like this.
Yeah.
He says, you know what? Let me just go talk to some plain, regular people and see what they think about decentering their whiteness.
Yeah, exactly. So I was trying to remember what that was. Decentering, yeah.
And so he goes to Louisiana, right?
The funniest part is where he's in his stupid outfit with his man bun and his extra hair
and his skinny jeans
and his tweed jacket, and he rides a scooter to the biker bar. And the biker bar is Harley Davidson biker bar
with Confederate flag,
everything you would expect out of a biker bar. And he rides up in this stupid scooter and then goes in and starts talking to people.
Now,
and
the only thing you don't get at this biker bar is what? Actual racism.
No, there's none. There's none. And the guys are all like, "What?"
First of all, they don't understand his vocabulary.
Yes.
And
he's asking, "What have you done to decenter your whiteness?" And they're like, "What? What do you mean? Why should I do that?"
Yes, and then the fat guy was so unintelligible that
they had to put captions.
They put captions up.
You can't call him fat.
But no, sorry about that.
Yeah.
But he was a perfectly nice guy who says, "You guys obsessing over race are just making things worse. I don't know what you're talking about. I've had black friends my whole life. Then they go on to the black church ladies, elderly church ladies. Mm-hmm. Basically the same story.
Yes.
Then they go to the African guy from Guyana who's been here for 30 years, owns a tire shop or something like that. Talk to him about it.
And his reaction is, it's just your skin. Like, we both bleed the same. What is your problem here? It was very funny.
Have you ever read Robin DiAngelo? He said, I only read the Bible. There you go. So, he had to explain to everybody what systemic racism was.
Yes.
And it was just poo-pooed by people black and white.
Except for the DEI experts. When he went to them. Is the nation fundamentally racist?
To its bones.
Yeah, to its bones. And then it was fundamentally is the wrong word. He was using some intrinsically was the word. Is the nation intrinsically racist? And she would say, well, I wouldn't say intrinsically, but I would say it's racist down to its core. So, and he would say, so intrinsically. She would say, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
And then there was the whole Moana problem.
Oh,
do you remember that?
The invented Moana problem.
Oh, that was hilarious. So
the redhead lady?
Yeah, the redhead DEI lady is talking about how she has a daughter, and she's upset that her daughter likes the white Disney princesses.
Yes, she gravitates towards the Cinderellas and the Snow Whites.
Yeah, and she's like, I want you to like the diverse Disney princesses or whatever. And so Matt Walsh is pretending to go along with this foolishness and saying, yeah, I know, I get it. Now I'm happy that my daughter likes Moana, that's her favorite princess.
Right, but he says, have you talked to her about this? She's 4 years old.
Yeah.
All the time. Really?
You imagine lecturing your 4-year-old about that?
About what she's liking the wrong thing for the wrong reasons or something?
Gosh, that is so disgusting.
Oh, so cringy.
So disgusting, yeah. So then he gets to the Moana problem, which is his daughter, he pretends in the movie, her favorite is Moana, but
which of course the redhead lady celebrates.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a good thing.
That's wonderful.
However,
except when she decides to wear a Moana costume for Halloween or whatever.
Is that a problem?
But that becomes cultural appropriation.
Ah.
So then now you're caught in this
in the Moana problem.
The Moana problem. Like, you want your kids to identify with and love the non-white
don't relate them
characters,
to the point where you want to wear the Pacific Island costume.
Yes, because that would be cultural appropriation. I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. The whole thing is, why anybody falls for this stuff it's almost unbelievable. But I don't know. Unfortunately, it is too
That's the
believable.
world we live in. But
and then this one really jumped out at me too. This is early in the movie when he hasn't adopted his costume disguise yet, and he's at that round table discussion about DEI stuff. Yeah. And they find out that he's really Matt Walsh, and then people are like, I don't feel safe anymore.
This safe thing.
I know that whole thing about I don't feel safe. What is wrong with you?
Like you're at work in your cubicle, and the person one cubicle over has a Trump sticker on their car, and you can't focus on your work,
right?
Because
you're so upset by this that they have
and you live in fear.
You live in what kind of wimpy people think that way?
We've done.
It's amazing. Okay. I expected more self-owns from the libs. Like the red-haired lady with the Moana problem, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And the Robin DiAngelo thing, where he guilts her into go for it.
And she is the white fragility. It probably is the best-selling.
Probably, I don't know.
I don't know what that means. I think. I don't know. Somehow she's got one idea that she stretched out for 300 pages, which is if you're white and you deny being a racist, that shows that you're a racist.
Of course.
Kind of, it's the Kafka trap.
Right.
And that's exactly the kind of thing a racist would say.
Yeah.
And you're fragile because you can't admit your own racism. But if you do admit your own racism, and then you ask what you can do about it, well, there's nothing you can do about it because being white means you're racist. Yeah. So I can't do anything about it. Then how about if I just go back to when I didn't care about it? Because there's nothing for me to do here.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty goofy.
So anyway,
he guilts her into so he has this black producer guy, Jeff, or what was his name?
Josh.
Ben or Jai, I don't know. Ben, Ben. So he brings him in a couple different circumstances, like when he was trying to get people to sign the petition to change the George Washington monument to the George Floyd monument.
Yeah, he had a lot of signers.
I know, it was pretty amazing. But so you bring in Ben from time to time, and he brought Ben in, and they were trying to kind of practice their anti-racism on Ben, and Matt Walsh decides to pay him reparations.
Yes.
Pulls out his wallet and gives him some cash, and Robin DiAngelo says, "No, I'm really talking about the system." And Matt Walsh says, "I'm not waiting for the system to change.
I'm taking action now.
I'm taking action."
Right. And of course, what she's saying is, I don't mean money out of my wallet.
Exactly.
I mean other people's wallets.
Liberals are always trying to spend everybody else's time and money and resources, but the idea of them. But to her credit, to some extent, I mean,
or to her shame, however you look at it.
She actually goes and pulls out $30 out of hers to pay him for reparations.
I mean, so now what? His life is fixed, and she's not a racist anymore.
Exactly, because she's paying
what is even going on
reparations. Here? Yeah, it's pretty stupid. That was pretty funny.
So then now he's come to the point on his journey where he himself is hosting a seminar. And he posted on Facebook or whatever, and he
got up 20 people to come take it.
Yeah, which was like $3,500 for him. And he brings them in, and it is cringy.
Comical. It is comical in how cringy and stupid it all is, and how far he goes with it. And it's the sort of thing. So I couldn't do it. I can't. Yeah. I don't like cringe.
That's the thing. I'm thinking, what could he do next? Well, now he's too recognizable. He'll have to get somebody else to do it. But can anybody else deadpan their way through
off that stuff? I don't think so.
Like that?
He is so good at doing that. And
so let's do. How about the Uncle Frank incident?
Oh yeah. So I mean, there's a few of them in that were really good. One.
People start bailing out.
Yeah. Some people did leave, which was credit to them. But one thing he did was, one of the things we have to do is confront racism when we see it, like at Thanksgiving, and other times around the house. And his Uncle Frank is this racist guy. So he says, we're going to solve that right now. So they wheel in Uncle Frank
semi-conscious
on a wheelchair, and they put him in the front of the room, and Matt Walsh berates him for some joke that he told
20 years ago,
which was a hilarious joke, by the way. But so he berates him for the joke, the racist joke, allegedly racist joke that Uncle Frank said, and now that hurt him, and then tries to get the people in the class to participate in berating Uncle Frank.
Yeah, is there anything that anybody else would? And it got a little dark there.
The fat lesbian chick was like cursing him.
F you, Frank.
Yeah, and
somebody else joined in. They were all, because that's it. That's how you heal.
That's how you heal. That's exactly. This is all about healing, and the way we heal is by hating poor Uncle Frank. So people were leaving, but then one of the parts of that class that he did I really liked was who's the most racist in the room. They were all supposed to point out.
Yeah, right. Just by looking. Who do you think is? And so I think he lost 2 people with that one. And then when he passed out whips for the self-flagellation portion of the seminar, he lost a few more.
Yeah, and then
there's some say the movie never got to the point of the actual self-flagellation.
Well, I think at that point he said no.
Oh, that's when he lost.
That's when he said, okay, this has gone too far. I can't take it anymore. And he says the seminar's over. And so this was supposed to be. So let's go through the trajectory of the movie. He starts off in the beginning saying,
Black cup of coffee.
Yeah. Am I racist because I prefer my coffee black and I can't say that to a black waitress? And he goes through this whole journey of discovery, trying to work on anti-racism and everything. And he gets to the point in his journey where he's a certified DEI instructor. He's actually teaching classes. He's like helping people overcome their racism, and it gets so ridiculous that he can't take it anymore. And then he comes back to the restaurant.
Yes.
And it's like,
But he also, okay. But before that, throughout, he has been on those Good Morning America, local broadcast Good Morning America shows are cringy all by themselves.
Yes, and he makes it
I find them very, I can't stand to watch them anyway, but it's just like, sometimes they're nice. It's like, oh, look, this weekend is the Bars and Paws weekend. They tell you what's going on around town, whatever. Yep. But then they had Matt, the DEI instructor, who's come to town.
And there's a white woman and an Asian woman.
The first thing is to stretch out.
But the funny thing is, he's talking to these women, and he says, "This is more for you, the white woman, than for you, the Asian."
But stand up with me.
Stretch out your
whiteness.
It was so cringy.
It was so bad. So at the end of the movie, after he's had the revelation of as the DEI instructor, he has the revelation on the program.
Yeah.
This is really bad.
Yeah.
Right. So they're trying to coax from him. What's your program about, whatever, and he just says, I can't do this anymore. And then he just walks off the screen, and the woman's just like, okay, over to Jim with weather. But how they managed, the producers and everything had managed to get them onto these shows, which shows that they don't do any background checking at all. They don't. They never even asked Matt his name. He just said, "Call me Matt, the DEI instructor."
Yeah.
But it had the
shows
right
you
sound.
the high journalistic standards that they use on these shows. So anyway,
it's
worth watching.
It's worth watching, and it's worth watching in the theater just so you can get the numbers up.
Yes,
because even though it was the fourth highest grossing movie of the weekend, it received 0 reviews.
Yes, because to review this movie is probably a career killer for a movie reviewer because of the incredibly tolerant left who, are so willing to hear other points of view.
Right. Yeah. Now, the question is, was it deceptive and dishonest to make a movie like this?
No. I don't think it was deceptive.
So this is what he's getting, right? This is the level of review that you get from people who didn't actually see the movie, but they know that it was a. But go ahead.
Well, there certainly was an amount of deception in getting these people into these interviews under the pretext that it was I'm on your side.
I'm on your side, but he just said on anti-racism.
Yeah, but isn't that? How else are you going to get them to have this conversation with you?
I thought it was interesting. I listened to Matt himself talk about this. He says, when Borat was humiliating and making fun of average, good-natured Americans, middle-class, average people,
right,
humiliating them, the left had no problem with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he says, when we go after leaders of the industry and PhDs, we are punching up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes you mad, because of the ideology of the people that we're punching at. Yeah. Didn't bother you at all when you're punching down at an average, good-natured American who's just helping in what they think is a confused foreigner.
Yeah. If it weren't for double standards, the left wouldn't have any standards at all.
So I totally reject the dishonest and deceptive attack.
Yeah. All right, so see the movie, and it's all right. I'm glad that the Daily Wire is trying to do this. Is there anything else that's on your mind?
Yeah, well, related but unrelated. I'm just a little bothered.
Bothered?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, tell me. Bothered by? Here we are drinking beer. This is what bars are for. Bothered by what?
Interracial couples.
But I mean, you're in a mixed marriage.
Well, yeah, that's true. I know that. But,
and so am I.
Yeah, right. I get. Yeah, that's true.
And wait a minute, let me think about this. And both your brothers and your son.
All right, I'm not making myself clear.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I don't have any problem with mixed marriages and interracial couples.
Yeah, I'm glad of that. Yeah.
But I've had it up to here with seeing 85% of commercial couples are mixed marriage interracial. I feel like they're just cramming it down my throat, and I'm wondering what are you doing here? Because this doesn't really look like America.
I see. Okay, so the real question here is, are they trying to represent us, or are they trying to lecture us?
Well, exactly. So normally you would think that you know, well, remember when Bud Light was all about being about fishermen and frat bros and guys having a good time.
That's known as, reaching out to your market.
Knowing
your demographic.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So then when they turn around and they give you the Dylan Mulvaney, you're like, well, what are you even doing here?
I'm not trying to be associated with that. Yeah.
So either this is who we think our audience is, or this is who we think you ought to be more like, or whatever. I'm just getting.
So you're getting this crammed down the throat kind of a vibe from the.
So I remember this was before the world went crazy. There, I saw an interracial couple, and in a way, almost like a first time. It was like a Domino's or something. I'm like, what do you know? Well, that's kind of neat because you don't. I see them all the time, not all the time, but it's something that exists, and so hey, why not?
Yeah.
And then it was like every ad agency panicked.
Yeah.
They looked around and they went, "Oh my God,
we don't have an interracial couple.
Oh yeah.
We need to get an interracial couple in here
fast. Stat.
Yeah.
And so it just then all of a sudden it's like, way easy now. I get it, but now you're. I almost feel like.
I remember the same reaction. I had the same reaction when we were trying to put a marketing brochure out, trying to sell a publication. I worked for a publishing company. We were trying to sell this publication. We were putting out this marketing brochure, and there was a picture of a bunch of people sitting around a conference room.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Wait a minute, this isn't a diverse enough group of people."
Right.
And I'm like, "What? I mean, is that really what's going? You really think that's that important?" And that's what's changed.
Yeah.
This has been so
first and foremost.
It's been so insidious in getting into our brains that we have to think whenever we have a picture of a bunch of people talking, there's got to be a black guy, there's got to be a white woman, there's got to be like, come on.
I know. All right. So now, my family is disproportionately.
Yeah.
It's like 30% of the couples in my immediate family, which is way higher than the American average.
Right.
But it's not nearly what you see in TV land.
No,
TV land.
It's like 70%.
I know.
Yeah. So what are they doing? What are they trying to do?
So this is what I'm thinking.
They're trying to decenter their whiteness.
Yes, they are committed to the multiculturalism idea that the more multicultural everything is, the better it is. Non-multicultural is bad. Super multicultural is good. Maximum diversity in a company is our strength.
Right.
And it makes everything better. So all you have to do is look at a company. You go to a boardroom and you walk through the office, and you can use a paint swabs and go around and check everybody, and that's how you know if this is a good company or a bad company. Now they have transferred that mentality onto families.
Right.
So that if the more diverse a family is, the better the family is. In fact, everybody should strive to have the most diverse family possible, because those are the good families.
Yeah.
And if you see all white families, well, you know that there's something inherently bad there. And that's I know it's me, but
I get what you're saying. Now, I mean, both of us are in mixed marriages. We obviously don't have any problem with this, but the idea of trying to say that is the standard, this is the way everybody should be.
Right. And let me just say, having a wife or spouse from another culture presents some real challenges, and I'm not even sure if I would recommend it. It's worked out for me, but it's because of the particulars of me and my wife and whatever. But it ain't easy, and it's not even, and I certainly wouldn't say it's better.
Yeah.
And this is the thing: when somebody makes a choice for themselves, that's fine. This is a choice that I've made. And then to turn around and go, and if you don't make the same choice, then there's something wrong with you, or you don't feel comfortable having guns in your home. Yeah, I don't. That's good. And you shouldn't either. Wait a minute. How about just you go with your opinion and then leave everybody else alone?
Imagine all the poor liberals who are like, let's say you have this liberal white woman, and she's attracted to a white man, and she's laying in bed at night thinking, maybe I should be dating a Hispanic man or a black man or an Indian man.
Well, people think poorly of me.
Am I being a racist?
Am I being a racist
by dating this guy because he's white?
Can I get milk in my coffee? Is that gonna offend?
Maybe I should be dating a Chinese man. I mean, this is the kind of crap that all this absurd fixation on race is.
Yes. When you spend your day indoctrinated in CRT, then this is how your mind works.
Cathode ray tube.
No, that's it. But you know what? I'm glad that's the first thing. That says something very positive about you, young man. Good job. All right.
Yeah. Well,
hold on. I got two more.
Okay.
Guy sends it. I saw he plays a commercial, and he says, "Oh, look, a commercial with all white people, and all of the white people. It's all white people, and they all have herpes." Until you get to the very end, and their black female doctor tells them what medication they should be taking. So that's how you can get all white people in a commercial.
I see.
If they're all
bad,
they're either evil or diseased.
Yes.
Then you can get all white people
and being lectured by a black person. Yes.
Or the one where there's it's a woman and her daughter. It's a black woman and a mixed race child.
Okay.
And there's no father. It doesn't have to do. It's just about the two of them. Who knows where the father is? I'm sure he's off at work or something, but he's off at work being white. So even the non-existent couple, even only half a couple,
even when we're only showing the mother and the daughter, somehow we have to get mixed race in there. We have to squeeze it in somehow. It can't be a black woman with a black child.
Right.
I mean, that's not diverse enough somehow.
No. I saw like a Carnival cruise, family cruise thing, and they showed a white family having fun. They showed a black family having fun, and I said, all right, I mean, isn't that good enough for everybody?
No, they had to mix them all up. Has to be a white woman and a black man, and a black woman and a white man, and you have to mix it all up to make it. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with any of that, but
the
cramming it down our throat
in a kind of.
I'm kind of sick of it.
The best families are diverse families, and Anyway, all right. Well, go see the movie.
And
pay attention to the commercials and tell me if I'm overstating this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually thinking about my neighborhood. The black couple that lives to one side and the Hispanic couple who lives over there, and the Hispanic. I should go tell them.
Yeah, I guess I got to mix this up a little bit.
I know exactly. You racist. What are you doing? You need to mix this.
Your own race,
I know.
like
come on. Don't do that.
All right.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.